Hello, and welcome to Message in the Middle with Marianne. We all know that life is hard, right? It's messy, it's unpredictable, but it can be wonderful all at the same time. My hope is that we can take a deep dive into self-development topics and explore life's lessons through book clubs, conversations, and interviews. And together, we can uncover the lessons that others have already learned to help us navigate this crazy, wonderful ride called life. Hello and welcome to Message in the Middle with Marianne. I'm your host, Marianne, and since we're heading into November, a month where many of us celebrate Thanksgiving in the United States, and a month that's often used to highlight all the things we're thankful for, I thought I'd share an experience, a bit of a reminder about being present and being filled with gratitude that I had a few weeks ago. So about 2 weeks ago, I took a few hours off from work one morning to go to a Grandparents' Day assembly that was at my 5-year-old granddaughter's school. And let me acknowledge, she's very, very fortunate and goes to a phenomenal private school. And it ranges from preschool to 8th grade. And every year, they hold this assembly for grandparents or other non-parent type important adults in the lives of the students. So as we sat there for about 15 minutes or so after the assembly was supposed to start, I had an epiphany. I realized that even though we were running behind and it likely meant I wouldn't get back to work on time, even though I had a ton to do that day, I wasn't agitated. I wasn't worried. I didn't start rationalizing whether or not I had to bow out early. I was just there. I was just very, very present. I was taking it all in and relishing in the fact that I got to be there. To some, I get that might not seem like a big deal, but I know the old me. It was a pretty big change in character from what would have been going on in my brain just a few short years ago. I mean, sure, I noticed the time was running behind and I acknowledged that, but it was sort of an emotionless observation. I wasn't mad or anxious. I wasn't running through the list of the 1,000 things I could be doing or should be doing. I felt no urgency. I just felt gratitude for being able to be there and gratitude for feeling very present. And that was the start of a very profound morning. So after a little longer, things finally got started. And at first glance, you might think it's an assembly similar to many others. We're seated in this big open cafeteria type assembly space, and there's a stage up at the front of the room, and the kids file in and they sit with their respective classes, and then class by class they go up on stage and share some of the work they've been doing or talk about the areas of study they've been focused on. And this ranged from, a class that shared their work on sustainability. Another talked about their work in their new Spanish class, including a trip to Guatemala to help the underprivileged. Another showed how they'd been learning about theater and yoga, and both things are a new offering at the school this year. But then came my favorite 2 presentations. So one was from my granddaughter's class. I mean, of course, but seriously, the kids got on stage and they sang, "The more we get together, together, together." I won't torture you with my voice, but the more we get together, the happier we'll be. And your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. So of course, these 4 and 5-year-olds, they're adorable, right? But it went beyond that. The words in the song offered such a great message of unity and inclusion, and it got even more impactful when they started singing the next round, both vocally and in sign language. I was absolutely beaming, guys, absolutely beaming. I was just so proud and so grateful that my granddaughter got to be part of this school. And then I got to be here. I got to actually sit there and be part of this experience. It was really special. Now, hopefully you're not sitting there and saying, okay, we're 4 minutes into the podcast and this is a great story and all about our granddaughter, but what really can I get out of this? What's the lesson in it for me? Where's the message? Well, I promise you, like all good infomercials, just wait, there is more. So after the pre-K, in walks I don't know if it was a second or third grade, but somewhere around that range. And the teacher introduces them and reminds us that the concept of mindfulness is one that the school infuses into the kids on a daily basis. And she tells us that her class is going to perform a little, I guess I'd call it a skit, and they're each going to share what mindfulness means to them. So one at a time, these shy little students came up to the microphone, they opened their mouths, and out came the most profound statements. They ranged from things like mindfulness means being open to and treating each new experience as an opportunity, or mindfulness means savoring each bite of your delicious food, cuddling with your pet, enjoying the warmth of the sun and the sound of the rain, noticing the sand beneath your toes and the salted breeze in the air at the beach. These kids were blowing me away. They already had a better handle on mindfulness than most of the adults I know. They knew how to spot it and how to be grateful for it. They know it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It can start with something so simple like noticing your surroundings or the yumminess of your meal. It's all about paying attention, about being present, and finding gratitude for the little things that show up every single day. Guys, I cannot tell you how much this filled me up and how lucky I felt to get this message. I mean, as soon as they started talking, it was like 2 students in, I reached for my phone and I turned on record because I just knew I wanted to share it with you guys and I wanted to be able to replay it before I talked about it. These teachers and these administrators were making a profound difference in the lives of these children. Can you imagine a world where all of the children in all of the schools and all of the homes were taught about being mindful, grateful, thoughtful, inclusive? Jeez, it kind of blows my mind. I was just filled with joy and gratitude that she could be part of this. The whole thing was such a lovely experience and a great reminder of how easy it all really can be. If elementary school children can grasp the concepts of being present and being grateful, surely we adults can, right? I mean, don't overcomplicate it, which is the thing we always tend to do. If you're just starting to try to be more mindful or more present, there's a few simple activities that might help you get tuned in. Do a body scan. A body scan is when you just make a practice of every single day just being aware of the physical sensations and tensions in your body. You just start at your toes and work your way up to your head and just take it in. Just notice it. That's it. That's all it takes to be more present. Do a nature walk. Just spend time in nature, and whether that's in a park or hiking in a trail or even just down your neighborhood street, pay attention to the sights, the sounds, the smells, things you often ignore. That too will help you tune in to how to be more present, more aware. Be mindful when you're eating. Eat your meals more slowly and savor each bite. Call out the flavors and the textures and the smells, just really noticing it. I know that many of you, like me, have been on a journey to be more healthy and to do better with our eating patterns. This is an area I think all of us could do a better job with. I think many of us rush through our meals or we're multitasking and we don't really enjoy them. This is definitely one exercise that helps you be more mindful about what you're eating. You can journal, right? Keeping a journal about your thoughts and feelings and reflecting on your day helps you be more mindful, be more tuned in. And if you're working on being more grateful, finding more gratitude, building practices around that, like everything else, it starts with noticing. Start or end your day by listing a few things you're grateful for. Keep a gratitude journal, right? And write down things that you notice in your day and make it a routine. part of your habit before you go to bed or the first thing in the morning while you're having your coffee or your tea or whatever else your routine is. Do a process of reflecting every single day and finding 3 good things that happened in your day and really calling them out. Keep a gratitude jar. Put little pieces of paper nearby, and then when something or someone makes you feel grateful, jot it down, put it in the jar, and you can read them all at the end of the year. All of these things will help you to find more gratitude and joy in your life. And for those of you who are struggling right now, I know there's a handful of you out there that are going through some stuff. Whether you're struggling to get back on track, whatever that looks like to you, or you're struggling to get through the holidays with lost loved ones, or you're working through a job loss and a job that you had built your whole identity around and now you're having to reset. I know it can be harder. I know this time can be a little trickier to navigate, but maybe you can use one of these practices to help you remember all the good you still have in your life, all the progress you have made, even if you're not where you want to be. And remember, as we learned in last week's podcast with Holly Bertone, the host of the Gratitude is Fortitude podcast, a true gratitude practice can have amazing mental and physical benefits, but it does require you to combine the awareness, the grateful feeling, and some type of action. So as we move into the season of thankfulness, let me challenge you to identify just one new habit, just one new practice that you can employ, even if it's only for the month of November, to see if it can help you feel more present, more tuned in, and more grateful. And then who knows, maybe you'll want to continue that as you go on beyond November. Before I close out, and in the spirit of being grateful, please know how grateful I am for all of you. Whether you're a new listener or one that tunes in every week, I'm so very glad you're choosing to spend some of your time with me. I hope this message resonates with you in some way, and I hope you'll join me in welcoming in November with trying to be more present in your own life and finding your way to more gratitude. Thank you for listening to this episode of Message in the Middle with Marianne. If you enjoyed the podcast, please take a minute to share it and write a review, as it helps bring new listeners to our audience. If you'd like to keep the conversation going between episodes, please join us at Facebook group Message in the Middle with Marianne.